Hello, welcome to the Daily Political Tarot readings here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you so much for being here. I'm here 365 days of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. So just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. 10% of my income from everything Black and Orange goes to Feeding America at feedingamerica.org, which supplies food to food banks across the country. That is an ongoing thing. The exception will be last night. When YouTube finally lets me know how much money I made in ads and super chats and what have you, that money is going to, whatever I made yesterday is going to Kirsten Langston. So, and thank you everybody for last night for the amazing just response and how kind everybody was. Thank you. Thank you. So it took a little bit out of me to set that up, but I think we did okay. I don't know how much money was given to, say, Kirsten's PayPal account. I don't have access to that. It's not mine. So hopefully she'll let me know at some point. But I have a question for you. Thank you. Have I used these before? It's sitting in StreamYard under brand. I've got all these overlays and I've got them organized by day, like for a color scheme. And I usually, after I get done with using one, I'll erase it. But every once in a while, I'll forget. I think I've used this one before, but it fits, it matches. So I don't know. But you know me, I don't like. Yeah, they do look familiar. Nope. Yes. Huh. Because I don't like reusing stuff. You know me. But I think this is the best one I've got. Because this one's too blue. So I might use that tomorrow. This is just crazy. And that gap makes me crazy. So I can't do that. I've got my standard thing here. I could just stick with this. I might just stick with this. I'm going to stick with this because I think I have used that blue before. Or those flowers before. All right, I'll use this. Thank you, everybody. Oh, you're... but it's worth using again. Okay, no. I'm pretty sure I have used that one. So I'll just use this. This is the Aspie Third Eye. At the risk of sounding like Jeff Sessions, I don't recall. All right. And one of the things I have found when I come on with you guys and I'm telling you the latest astrology, kind of giving you an update on that. One thing it's been so long since I had a physical calendar like this. So I actually have found that I need to put a piece of washi tape over the weeks I've already done. Or I get lost and I start giving you bad information, and that will not do. That will not do. And today's Saturday. Today's the 11th. So before I forget, I'm going to add this little piece. So today in astrology, Mercury is going into Aquarius. All this Aquarian energy. My goodness gracious. And we had talked about... Ow, stop. Quit it. We had talked about Pluto going into Aquarius, and that's happening next month. Arguably the biggest astrological happening this decade is happening next month, March 23rd. Well, actually, the whole month, because there are 3 major changes happening. So that's coming up, and yeah, it's a big deal. So all this Aquarian energy that Pluto is going to kick up. Whew. And if anybody's wondering why, what's it going to do? Because I've gone through before. I did a whole video. I should separate it out and make it its own video so people can refer to it. Where I walked through what happened over the last 100 years or so as Pluto changed signs, and how there was something big, some major event, something that had to do with that sign, or yes, versions of that sign. Some the topics, the flavor of it, whatever. For example, when I'm going to put this back in this drawer because otherwise, put things back where they belong. For example, when Pluto in 1939, Pluto went into Leo. Leo is the sign of kings. Kings are authoritarians. I mean, they just are. I mean, unless they've had all their power taken away, much like the UK, the kings and queens, they're authoritarians. And when Pluto went into Leo in 1939, what happened? Pluto looked around and said, "Okay, who are the biggest authoritarians? Let's kick up. Let's really deal with all of this energy so that we can bring this gunk to the surface and we can deal with it." And that's what it does, and Pluto does in every single sign as it goes. So in 1939, it went into Leo. In 1971, it went into Libra, the sign of relationships. That's where you get the Gen X, the latchkey kids, you get, and the big thing was Roe v. Wade, which had a huge effect on relationships, how long people stayed in relationship, because there isn't a 100% infallible form of birth control. People could start controlling the size of their families. They could start controlling, they could save, women's lives could be saved who wouldn't have been saved before. It was a huge change. And then you have quite often big block, the big movies of the time quite often can have something to do with the era. And arguably, I don't know, I wouldn't say, but arguably one of the most influential or biggest movies in the 70s was Kramer versus Kramer. So, in the 80s, in 1984, Pluto moved into Scorpio. And that was, since I'm going over this briefly, I'm not going to go into the whole thing. Ding! Leo's down here. Hello. Down here. Ooh, hello. Yeah, Leo's here. That was in 1939. Pluto went into Leo, and we dealt with all the authoritarian stuff. 1971, it went into Libra. 84, it went into Scorpio. Scorpio rules the nether regions. It is the house, it even says here, of intimacy, death, rebirth, that kind of thing. And in 1984, they finally figured out that what was killing all those people was the AIDS virus. It was also a time of, because Taurus is about your own money, Scorpio is about other people's money. This is also and it's not the most, I am a Scorpio, but Scorpio traditionally is not the most, not necessarily an egalitarian type type of thing. That's where you get the whole 80s greed is good, and the AIDS virus and all of this kind of stuff. So in 2008, when Pluto went into Capricorn, Capricorn is status, career status, and one of the biggest signs of status in our culture, kind of for the average person, is do you have enough money to buy your own home? And there had been a run up through kind of loosey-goosey Sagittarius, Pluto and Sagittarius, that led to, the Saturn, the auditor came home and said, let's have a good look at, Pluto came into the sign of the auditor and said, okay, let's have a good look. And in 2008, the housing market collapsed. So it went into that Capricorn energy and said, okay, everything that doesn't have strong roots, everything that isn't healthy, anything that can't be plowed will be fine. But if there's any weakness, all of this gunk, we will plow it under. We will bring other stuff to the surface so we can be dealt with and moved away. This is also what Pluto in Capricorn is also what brought us our first African American president. Great man, Barack Obama, and the incredible backlash of the far right, because status. This is, let's have a good look at status. Who traditionally, even though he's completely qualified, the perfect man to be president, he wouldn't be traditionally because he's not lily white. That's not right. Let's look at that. Let's put him there. And then watch the racists lose their minds and overreact and all of this craziness. And this is what we've been dealing with. And then Pluto went and found someone who had status, who was on the Forbes richest whatever list and had a TV show about his great business acumen and all of this nonsense. Someone who had status, especially in terms of Capricorn rules, skyscrapers, achievements, that kind of thing. Owns Trump Tower. Let's make him president and then show what a farce it is, that you cannot just rely on these traditional ideas. And now, next month, Pluto is moving into Aquarius. It's going to move into Aquarius on the 23rd of next month. It's going to be there for a few months. Then it's going to retrograde back into Capricorn for a few months. But then next year, boom, and it's going to be in Aquarius until 2040, I think. And if you're thinking, hang on, this doesn't make sense. The planets are moving in a circle. Why they only spend certain amounts of time in each house? How come it's not an even number of years? It's because Pluto has it's basically, it's not in a circle, it's in an oval. And so it went through some signs faster, and then it will go in some signs faster, and then it will go through some signs slower from our perspective. So next month we've got Pluto going into Aquarius. This is a big deal. I was concerned because Aquarius is the sign. First of all, it is a sign of egalitarianism, humanitarianism. But it's ruled by Uranus, and a symbol for Uranus. You can remember it because that H. It's like the man who discovered Uranus is named Herschel. So the symbol has like an H, Herschel. Uranus rules electricity, technology, the unexpected, the thinking outside the box, any kind of robotics. That is Aquarius all the way. And I was concerned that when Pluto went into Aquarius, we were going to get a stress test on the internet, on the systems we have online. And we may still get that at some point. So it's always, a possibility. It's always a good idea to have, I have not picked up on any kind of catastrophe coming. I'm not a catastrophe kind of person. And it isn't because my life has been perfect, trust me. So it's always a good idea to have a small, I have like down in the basement, I've got like a rack where I've got some extra protein powder, and I've got some, I've always got canned soup and, some basics. So it's always a good idea to have stuff like that around, just in case there is a disruption of any kind, a storm, you name it. So some basics. So, any toilet paper, that kind of thing. So we may get a stress test on the internet at some point. But I think you'd have to be living under a rock to not pick up on, if you know anything about astrology, is that this This momentous event that's happening as Pluto enters Aquarius, it's AI. It is the sudden rise of computing capabilities and computers' ability to do what we want them to do. There's always been an element of, okay, well, I want to do, I mean, I remember back in the days, in the early 80s, I was fortunate enough that our first computer was an Apple IIe. And they were teaching us about that at school. And my parents were kind enough, they pulled money together and they got one for me, which is great. But let me tell you something about Apple IIes. You couldn't write a letter without putting numbers at the beginning of each line. Because anything you wanted to do, you had to put a number at the beginning of each line. So you could just put text, but that's why, and you'd usually do like in intervals of 10, because if you needed to go back and change anything, you could put in another number without having to change everything else. And you had to do that line. Imagine doing that in your email. Imagine doing that in Messenger. Numbered 10, 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Every time you got to the end of a line, type in a new number. Type in a new number, continue your thought, type in a new number, continue your thought, and then that was the only chance you had of printing a letter out. And then of course you had the dot matrix paper and to pull the stuff off the edges. But I don't think we had a printer back then. It took that came later. So Joyce says, my first computer was an Apple IIgs. Ooh, fancy. So that is this is the big thing. It's going to be AI. That's I cannot imagine. I mean, it is a sea change, and it is going to have a huge effect on. It's going to have a huge effect just on, everything. On what we read, what we are able to accomplish. So yeah, those who, and the thing is, it's like, for anybody who's worried, they're like, oh gosh, I don't know how to code. I don't know how to, I'm technologically challenged. One of the things about this rise of AI is that you don't have to code. You don't have to, you can just say, you can go into Chat GPT and say, write me an invitational email. Write an email that's an invitation to a bunch of friends to join me for an Easter meal, and then you go back and make it a funny email to invite, and then it'll write, and you hit okay. You just tell it what you want, and it'll give you a first draft. And it's like, wow, look at that. And it may have some ideas that maybe you didn't. So you don't necessarily use the whole thing, depending on what you're after. But it could spark something, or it could have a funny line, or what have you. Yeah, Betty, blue screen was crazy back in the day. Oh yeah. When I was and I was in college in around 90, 91, 92. I didn't have a computer per se. I had a brother. It was like a typewriter. It had a little screen about this big. You could just see a few lines. That was it. And you had to put a floppy disk, which I think was a hard disk. But you had to put a disk in to save anything. But it was attached, this keyboard and this little tiny screen were attached to a printer. So you could hit print and it would print. The problem was that printer sounded like gunshots going off. It was the loudest printer. And there were times, like I remember like 6 a.m, where it was like, I have got to print this out for class. I've got to turn this in But I have neighbors, and I was packing pillows around this thing. I put it on the floor on the ground. Yeah, I had a ground floor apartment, but I put it on the floor. I was wrapping this pillow after every pillow I could find and blanket around this thing to try to even attempt to muffle how loud this thing was. But that was then. It was really in the mid 80s that it was with AOL. I think AOL had a lot to do with why people got computers at home. So there was that. And anybody who's too young to have heard what it sounded like when you connected to the internet in the 90s, it was screeching, beeping, screeching. I won't try to say exactly what it sounded like, but that was then. Ricky says, growing up in the early 1980s, all I had was an Atari 2600. Excellent. Alice says, my first computer was a Commodore 64. Nice. Melbourne starts at the first computer class I took as a freshman in college in 1978 required me to use an IBM punch machine to enter the program steps, one per card for the IBM compiler. I've seen videos on YouTube. I don't know. I've got this thing. I really like old office videos about the way they used to run offices. I'm nuts. I think it's I've got Saturn on my Gemini Ascendant. I like organization, so I just like anyway. And my progressed moon is moved into workaholic Capricorn, so it makes sense, but still a little crazy. All right, so I just want to let you guys know that this is such a big deal. This is huge. This is not a flash in the pan, and there's no reason to not think that this is just as we've had these massive things happen, game changers happen. We're going into a whole new set of game changers. So it will be good. It will be great. It will have its bad parts. Pluto tells it like it is. Pluto looks under the rocks. Pluto is the natural Pluto rules Scorpio, who is the natural detectives of the zodiac. What's under this rock? I want to know what's really going on behind the scenes. What's really happening? Sometimes you don't want to see what's really happening, but sometimes do you find a treasure? So, Melbourne said, trust me, that was not fun. Sorry, I've got an itch on my back. Let's see if I can reach under this. That was not fun. If you made one mistake, the compiler quit and the computer stopped running. Oh no, computer caretakers were not pleased. That's awful. That was awful. And I think I saw some people saying how awful the noise was, the dial-up noise was for the internet. Yes, it was. So today, Mercury's moving into Aquarius. That's where this entire everything I just was talking about. Oh, that's good, Cheryl. I took computer programming 0010. That's awesome. That's awesome. Rose Blue says, keep digging, Pluto. Oh, it will. Yeah. Betty says it'll be a roller coaster. Buckle up. Yeah. So, we're getting in communicating. I'm talking about technology for as long as Mercury is going to be in Sagittarius, which it takes a while. It takes a little while. I don't have it right offhand when it goes into. If it's going into Aquarius, going into Pisces, and it goes March 2nd. It goes into Pisces. So for the rest of this month, our communication might be a little cool overall, and it might be a lot. We might be talking about technology a lot, especially with Pluto about to go into Mercury is going to be in Aquarius. Well, actually, it's going to just move into Pisces but Pluto hits. So we're going to have lots of Aquarian energy. I just saw. Aspie Third Eye says I took computer programming and when it was if/then. Oh yeah. Carolyn says I'm like that with all of my Scorpio planets. A detective. Yep. There was a time where I really kind of wanted to be a private detective. And then I realized how sensitive I am, and it was like, do I really the finding the stuff, I was always good at that. But it's the emotional fallout that would be yikes. Oh, Eileen, bless you. My first computer was is it Altos? In 1981. I ran a PC lab in 1985, dual floppy and no hard drive. Those were the days, my friend. My mother worked at Bell Labs back in the day. Yeah, I'd have to talk to her about the more specific things, but she saw a lot of this early stuff. Betty says I'm a Y person. It drives people crazy. There we go. Leela says I have Scorpio rising. My husband calls me the detective. I love to research random things. You and me both. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, Cheryl. So that's what's going on now. Right now, the moon is over here in Libra. And I had a question on because tomorrow, no crises today. Tomorrow, the weekly astrology forecast should be coming out tomorrow. The brief one that I started doing every week with graphics. There was a reason I mentioned that. The moon's over here in Libra. Oh, somebody asked, does this apply to all signs? And the reality is yes, because this is the energy that's in the world. So if it doesn't affect you directly, it will affect some people around you. If your signs are, it's not in aspect. Astrology is very complicated, and it isn't just your sun sign. That's the reason I've never, apparently it would have been very popular for me, from what I've seen, to do videos on, I'll do this month's tarot readings for specific signs. But I'm more into astrology than that. So I know that your sun sign is just one tiny piece of this beautiful puzzle that every one of us are. With your, where's your sun, where's your moon, where's your Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, Eris, and then you've got Chiron, you've got asteroids like Chiron, and you've got your point of fortune, you've got your vertex, you've got there's so much. And if you have a stellium, you have a grouping of things in one sign, it could be completely different from your sun sign. And yeah, so this is what I talk about, is the energy that's in the air, the things that overall people are likely to be talking about or dealing with. So Azalea says there's more to astrology than just your sun sign. Many people don't understand that. It's true. Well, they have not gone digging. All right. So CC Ryder's asking, I'm really curious about the GOP and DNC charts, what they look like. I found one astrologer who looked at the GOP chart a few years ago. There are 2 birth dates out there for the GOP. She explained the one she used. Yes, I've got a book actually of kind of charts for countries and some political parties and that kind of thing. And there are multiple charts. Technically, there are multiple charts for the U.S. Not everybody agrees on the what's called the Sibley chart. They call it the Sibley chart for, just an easy way to say it. But it's the July 4th, 1776 in Philadelphia at 5:10 p.m. Not everybody agrees with that, but it's the most commonly used one because it seems to work best for most people. But there's for events and countries and things like that, there are often there can be some discussion on when exactly did that come into being, when exactly. So yeah. Alice says my astrology chart is a vortex with so many oppositions it looks like bicycle spokes. I bet that's really interesting though. And it means over time you've learned to deal with so many, and then they probably aspect each other. There are other aspects too, but that's amazing. That would be great. Fantastic. Okay. Joyce says my complex uses an app to unlock certain doors. And when the app stops working, you can't get in or out. I guess this will happen more often now. Oh, gosh. Melbourne Star says I have an empty first house in my chart. Technically, I do too. Technically, my Saturn is like just a minute or two behind. It's just a minute or two behind my ascendant, so it's just here. So technically, it's 12th house, and I don't have anything in my first house. A lot of people don't. No big deal. Lilith Dark Moon. There's Lilith, an asteroid, and then there's Lilith, the Dark Moon, which is we'll get in. Let me not go down that rabbit hole. Honestly, Kathy, I'd just ask Google for right now. I really would. Sorry. I've got questions. I've been talking too much on this anyway. Sorry. So there's a lot of Aquarian energy in the air, and yeah, I'm having computer problems. I was listening to Chicago Progressive Talk Radio this morning, and Hal Sparks, his Saturday show, he's that poor guy. His whole system. I went to his YouTube channel, and it was worse. He kept kicking him off. There were like multiple times he tried to create live streams. While he was on the radio, they had this huge part where it was just nothing but commercials. He was having a terrible time. His computer system has just gone kaplooey. Mine has gone kaplooey off and on over the past few weeks. And at the moment, we're good. But I've had to reset my computer, I don't know how many times in the last month. And it could be solar flares, Blue Rose. It also could just be, Pluto's about to go into Aquarius. It's right there. And it starts having an effect. That and the solar flares, yeah. And yeah, anyway. Viola says my city's 911 system has crashed this afternoon. Yeah. Mel says, yes, technology is challenging. My GPS lost a satellite several times yesterday. Oof. Cheryl says, maybe it's the spy balloon. Maybe that's it. Joyce says, yeah, I couldn't listen to it. Then it just shut off. Yeah, he had to come on multiple times, but I was just listening to the radio side of it, so I heard a lot of it until I came on here. Yes, Mary Huddleston says electional astrology is choosing the moment for an important event based on the placement of planets at the time. Yes, and I'm trying to figure out when this year. I'll have to see if I can hire Andre to help me figure out a time this year that would be most fortuitous for me to, say, run a Kickstarter campaign for my Victorian Cats tarot deck. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Yeah, there's such a big, there's a chunk of the sun that just apparently just went poof. I'm going over here. What? No, you're part of the, come back. No, it went poof. But it's a sun. It's on fire. it's kind of it. It's kind of its thing. It is fuego. It is fire. And so you get, every once in a while, you'll get processes, chemical processes, to the chemical makeup, the weight, the pressures, the dynamics, where you'll get a piece that goes uncontrolled fire. And that's kind of what just happened. But we're still here. It's not going to, we're good. So. Mary Huddleston, yes. Pluto's giving us a preview of the themes when it moves into Aquarius. Yes. Thank you, Dave. All right, so let me pull out ye old cards, and boy, do we have. Oh, my dear great Gussie, are we starting with an amazing story today? I've got to find. There we go. Good old faithful. All right. All right. Barwin says it's a coronal hole. They happen, nothing to worry about. Yeah. Yeah. Don't stress it. Don't stress it. I mean, the sun gives us life. To some extent, you could even say that every form of energy we use, to some extent, is based on the sun. Either, chlorophyll took that energy, and then animals ate it. Dinosaurs ate it, and in the ground, or the heating and cooling of the air causes wind turbines to. You can. I think maybe geothermal would probably be the only thing that's our heat rather than, but the sun is vital. It is the center of the solar system. It is the center of our existence and our continued existence. And it's important. If you think too closely about it and you think, wow, that's insanely dangerous. Yeah, it's a giant ball of plasma on fire. Well, plasma is, anyway. But it's been there for billions of years, and it's not going to go. When the sun finally starts aging, and when it's aging to the point where it will put us in danger, some people have said it'll turn into like a brown dwarf or something. It's like, no. But a long millions and millions and millions of years from now, it will actually turn into a red giant first. So hopefully by then we can maybe take some of the planets and kind of move them and go, okay, we don't want to lose the Earth. We don't want to lose Jupiter. Okay, we'll just can we move these planets? We'll just put them over here. We'll find a different sun, or we'll do something millions and millions of years from now, or add something or change compositions or something, but we're okay. We're okay. All right. Oh my gosh, 3930. Boy, did I talk a lot today. 3930. You're going to love this. If you have not heard about this, it's trending on Twitter. You're going to love this. Lucky Girl has the link right there. I haven't even started talking, and Lucky Girl has posted the link to somebody else's video. in a show of faith in my abilities. I'm teasing you. I'm teasing you because you're my friend. That was funny. Wow. Okay. Anyway, 4030. It turns out that okay, now this part, the first one, the first one isn't this first part is not surprising. Lawyers for former President Donald Trump discovered more classified materials in January and gave them to federal investigators. It's kind of surprising they gave them to federal investigators, but okay, yeah, okay, who's surprised? They're finding classified materials here, they're finding classified materials there, and they're finding it in a house, they're finding it with a mouse, they're finding it here and there, they're finding it everywhere. Classified documents for everybody. Here's the difference. What they turned over included a laptop and thumb drive. Hang on, Donald Trump famously doesn't use computers. He uses phone, but just texting, and he doesn't. And a thumb drive. And it belonged to an aide. And on this laptop and thumb drive, no, not Hunter Biden laptop, Trump's aide, their laptop had copies of marked classified materials that were allegedly copied. Yes, indeed. Copies of marked classified material. Yes, indeed. So, there was someone earlier who was saying, well, I wonder if Trump will throw the aide under the bus. Really? You have to ask. All right, let me stop that. And I'm going to have a look, see. So, no, the aide was one of the PACs, one of Trump's PACs, I believe. So, there we go. Trump lawyer said a current aide's laptop turned into federal investigators contained a copy of classified folder, not like it could hold many. And the lawyer reportedly told federal agents the computer contained a folder with classification markings. The aide did not realize the documents were classified. The ones with the classification markings? There were turned in were papers with classified markings. It was an empty folder with classified markings. The laptop of one of Trump's aides. And they were discovered, the classified documents were discovered at Mar-a-Lago, but not in the area where Trump stored the batch of materials seized in August. The classified materials had been electronically copied onto the laptop of the aide. Didn't know they'd scanned classified materials. Right, because when you scan something, how exactly did that work? And Trump is being investigated by Jack Smith. Thank you for that little ray of sunshine. So, yeah. So all because in the House they're gearing up to do the whole Hunter Biden laptop oversight nonsense, right? This kind of deflates their balloon, as it were. Rose Blue, Espionage Act. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Cheryl Clark says a Chinese lady also took a thumb drive from Mar-a-Lago. Well, she came in with one. She came in with multiple ones, I think. But Alice says scanning classified documents is big time illegal. Roxana says scanning classified material. I hate when that happens. I know, right? You just trip and you've scanned, just tripped over my socks and, I scanned some classified documents. Polly Wanda, what's wrong with Polly Wanda? Polly Wanda is awesome. Oh, it's driving you crazy that he's not getting charged. Yes. Man, okay. Zena says, so the aide could have plugged in the thumb drive and copied all the documents. Yes. So I'm gonna do an overloaded Celtic on this. And in today's Black and Orange Tarot and Astrology, apparently I'm covering 4 things or something, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna have time for. All right, let's do an overloaded Celtic. Deania says, aren't the laptops government issued? This was an aide with one of his packs, I think. Alice says the Chinese spy brought in thumb drives. However, was she just exchanging them with Rompy? I don't know. Yeah, I know. Isabel, happens to me every day. Exactly. All right, let me move the... see? Now I won't get lost. I'll move this back. I will move this down. All right, I will turn on the old light. Browan says it was the Save America pack. Thank you. All right, we start talking about this at 40:30. So let's just. All right, I'll just do an overloaded Celtic. So what's going to happen? What is going to happen? Donald J. for Genius Trump. Unless, of course, the cards just go flying. Emperor, Star, Tower, all kind of fun stuff. CC Ryder says, what could be worse? Did the aide email classified documents? Emails. Exactly. Being clumsy today, or the cards are just, everything's just falling out. All right. So what's going to happen with Trump and the scanned, copied, shared, classified documents? Cheryl Clark, China, if you're listening. Donald J. for Genius Trump. Every day it's something else. He's absolutely blaming other people. Absolutely. No question. Not even a glimmer of a question on that one. But every day it's something else. Well, that's because you've committed so many potential crimes. Well, arguably, you've committed just so many crimes, period. So, yeah. Katie Harbuckle says, hey, a weird idea, but maybe we should check Trump's birth certificate. Just saying. Was he born in Kenya? Secrets. Oh, so many secrets. Secrets upon secrets upon secrets. Because you're an idiot. Center of the reading. Aggressive law enforcement. Yeah. If the FBI does not start searching Bedminster, what was the name of that big house in New York? It's not Seven Seasons. It's Seven Gables, something, something. But Trump Tower. Basically, if the FBI does not start searching every single property of Donald Trump's, I'm very disappointed. I'm very disappointed it hasn't happened so far. And how much more do you need to see? Hanging above the reading, this was it was giving this information to the DOJ to try and avoid further mess. Somebody was trying to do their job. Well, good luck. Base of the reading. Page of Wands, Page of Pentacles. Yeah, flunkies that he can throw under the bus. Flunky here, flunky there. Yeah, they were ruining. Seven Springs, that was it, Valerie. Thank you. My brother investigated it. Works for AG Letitia James. Oh, bless, Valerie. Bless. But, flunkies. Blame it on the flunkies. In the past, he was already facing some pretty heavy-duty judgments. Home environment. Look at all of my stuff. But no, this is also the documents found on Joe Biden's property and Pence, and yeah. Everybody's got top secret documents. I've got a tissue box full of them over here. I just use them for tissues, all my classified documents. And, entertainment only, YouTube. All right. Hopes and fears. We're hoping he didn't sell this stuff. What other people see? Government dragging their feet. The challenge. Insult to injury. He just keeps going. He's still swanning around playing golf. All right. Near future 1 and 2. Final outcome 1, 2, and 3. Near future 1. Near future 2. Well, the aide is going to have some serious conversations with some people in the government. Going to have some splaining to do. Communication. Looking at, was something more, were these shared? Was it, how unsecure was it? Was someone able to take advantage of that? One of the questions, I believe, was a laptop connected to the internet? Well, yeah. So the aide is going to have a lot to answer for, but final outcome is this going to affect Trump? Final outcome 1, 2, and 3. Excuse me. Sorry. I would say yes. This is death and the thief. This is you're donezo. And then this is him being a bully, because even if they indicted him tomorrow, there would be a huge lag before an actual trial, in which point he'd be doing whatever he's doing, where he's trying to cause trouble, trying to delay things, trying to hurt things, whatever. But this is major arcana, and it's coming. The reckoning is coming for Trump on all this top secret garbage that he should not have. But it's not near future. It's final outcome. Much to our frustration. I wish I had better news. All right. spread out my major arcana a little bit. Rexa, I don't have. I've got my 12 questions for today, but do put your questions in the chat before I come on. Sorry, and I haven't heard anything about Sununu. Is he really running? Okay. All right. Hello again. Greta says, once he's indicted, can he be censored from posting on social media? I think there's some. Yeah, I think there's some trouble. There's some trouble coming in Trump world. Jeffrey says, I have retrograde Pluto in Virgo. Oh, no, Pluto and a Virgo moon conjunction in Virgo. Retrograde Pluto in conjunction with a Virgo moon. So I've got a bit of a Scorpio vibe. Oh, yeah. I would do it. I would do it. Oh, boy. Valerie says, Sununu's running from prosecutions. Whew. Cheryl says, yes, he's running. Oh, wow. We'll have to look at that in the coming days. I am here 365 days of the year. So if I don't get your question now, I'll get there. I will get there. Your questions are very important to me. All right, let me see if I can answer another one here. See what's in the ether. 5630. All right. 5630. Sandy Miller was asking, what might Mike Pence do if and when he testifies to the grand jury? Sandy, which one? Which grand jury? I might have to come back to this question because, well, I could just look in general, but there are so many. Mike Pence testifying before a grand jury. What are you going to do? Dude, Trump tried to kill you. You know that, right? And I keep trying to remind you, he tried to. Oh, yikes. 7 of Wands, Ace of Swords, 6 of Swords, Hermit, Strength. He's going to show up. As God is my witness, they tried. He was on the defensive from the crazies. He tried to kill you. Okay. God is my witness. Going somewhere. Careful consideration. Answering. And then putting this carefully to bed. Honk shoe, honk shoe. What is that? Mike Pence testifying. Careful, measured. He's prayed about it. And I don't normally even remotely poke fun at people praying, but Mike Pence believes Jesus is talking directly to him. And there are people who would say, I have no credibility. Me. But the man who says Jesus is talking directly to him, let's make him vice president. Let's put him within a heartbeat of the presidency. Okay. Anne says his wife and daughter were there too, and he still won't talk, the coward. Yes, that would, as I've said many times, I was not blessed with children. However, I feel, maybe it's my Cancer moon, but I feel protective of others. And if somebody tried to kill my cats, if somebody tried to kill, let alone what I imagine someone trying to kill me while my daughter was there, my wife was there, my daughter was there, I'd be furious. It would be done. That would be that. That would be the end. But not him. Nope. Because it's... I try to walk very carefully when I talk about Christians in general, because my family's Catholic. I'm not, but my family's Catholic. Miss Sarah is Christian. I know a lot of you are. There are very good Christians out there. There really are people who really are devoted to the actual word of Christ. Absolutely devoted. And bless you. Bless you. But there's also a type, because there's good and bad to everything. There's also a type of Christianity that is angry parent. God is an angry parent. And it's authoritarian, and it's power. It's about power, and it's about... So it isn't as surprising to me that for all Pence's talk about how religious he is, he's not actively gone after Trump. At least he didn't for a long time, and he was still trying to be in politics and get power. And I see some parallels there. So maybe if he believed in a truly loving God who was not trying to judge him, condemn him, maybe he would stand up for the safety of his child. Just a thought. Speaking of Pence, 103. 103. Trump is panicking. Trump is panicking and is now praising Pence publicly ahead of Pence's subpoenaed testimony. So Pence is praising and sweet talking Pence. Does he actually think he can sweet talk himself out of this with Pence, and that Pence will protect him? Well, consider what we just talked about. Oh, where was it? Oh, I think it jumped. Roxana was saying Trump just said Pence was an honorable man, a good one. Oh, please. That's what the mob people say. Trying to influence witnesses. Ace of Pentacles. A little gift, a little something to sweeten the pot. Remember the good times, Mike. Nine of Cups, Death card, Four of Swords. Trump knows the evidence against him. Trump knows how much trouble he could be in, and he's trying to sweet talk, to have Pence help make this all go away. Just float away. Nice try, Spiff. Is it going to succeed? I think it's Jack Smith. So is Trump going to succeed in sweet talking, batting his eyelashes at Pence? Strength. The card of quieting the orange monster. High Priestess, Ace of Pentacles, 10 of... there are secrets. Pence is going to take under advisement that Trump isn't being as heinous as normal. But the people he's talking to, they have a lot of information. They have a lot of information. And there's a burden there. That what is Pence going to do? Walk in there and say, oh, I don't know. When this is so far down the line of the investigation, and the investigators already have all kinds of communications and witnesses, and there's not much you can do except tell the truth. Mary Huddleston says Pence has been protecting the moldy orange. Yeah. Evelyn, yes, the DOJ knows the answers. Pence better not lie. Queen of Wands, you are one of us. You are one of us. The group of the far right. Mar-a-Lago. Temperance. Worry. Not going to work. And Trump's worried. He's going to be worried. Yeah. But I'm not getting energy where Pence is. I'm not getting the kind of energy I would have, which is, what do you want to know? He tried to kill me. He tried to kill my family. He sent a mob after me and my daughter and my spouse. What do you want to know? I'm not getting that kind of energy from him. I'm not. But I don't think he's going to lie. So, Rose Blue says they only ask the question if they have the answer to it. Well, at this point, this late in the game, that's probably true. Dave says Pence is a candidate for charges. Ooh. He asked you to be his vice president. You said yes. And then you stood there looking at him like you were the proud parent at a dance recital for your 6-year-old. Standing in, oh God, it was so disgusting. Him standing in the White House looking at Trump from the back like, please. Ugh. Marie Sutton says Pence wrote a book, so we cannot plead the fifth on questions he talked about in the book. Excuse me. Sorry, stretching. Have you ever had one of those stretches where it's like it takes over and you can't even stop it? It's like your body goes, oh, we're stretching now. It's like, duh. Okay. All right. It is getting rather late because I did talk a lot today, but let's do something that isn't Trump related. I can move those two. There are questions here that will get moved to tomorrow. Hang on. Wow. Well, I haven't done anything like this. Hang on. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, Russia trying to destabilize Moldova. Satan 2? All right, let's have a look at let's take a, we haven't done an international question in quite a while. So let's have a look at 110. Okay, at 110. On the anniversary of the beginning of the war with Ukraine, bless, February 24th, bless. Putin is expected to launch the ultrasonic nuclear-capable and quote-unquote unstoppable missile Sarmat, also known as Satan II. Not Satan 1, not Satan 2. The knockoff? Will he actually follow through with it? Jeez. Well, let's just, I don't know about that specific thing. Let's just, on the anniversary of the beginning of the war with Ukraine, will Putin launch some heinous, horrible thing? He actually showed up at a big thing and talked. Like, oh, he let you out of the hospital, huh? Or his personal hospital or whatever. All right. Queen of Wands. This is the people around. This is the people around Putin. What is that? I don't. What is that? Page of Swords. Knight of Wands. Nine of Pentacles. Six of Pentacles. Five of Wands. These aren't cards of heinous. These are not cards of heinous nuclear capable missiles. This is just fighting. This is just bullying, throwing those poor young bullet catchers at the front line. Putin is so running out of materials and people. So running out of materials and people. The people around him, I'll see if I can. And then Ukraine is just sitting on the deck, just over here. Very surprisingly capable of protecting themselves, considering the size and how huge the Russian military was supposed to be. Sorry, random computer talking to me. What? What are we talking about in the chat? Yes, it isn't trillium material. Yes, it isn't exclusively nuclear, but it's capable. But it's still a big, scary missile. You don't want it coming at you. Fruits of labor, saying they have things that may or may not work. Moon, Two of Swords, High Priestess. All right, this is the chaos of the war. It doesn't end with that. It begins with that. This is where we already are. This is a decision to use a weapon. And then I've got secrets. Not tower, not death, not... A lot of what the Russians have militarily has not been maintained. Even when this started, it hadn't been maintained. There were people along the way who figured out that if they could skim off bits here and there of parts of materials and could sell them in the black market and make a little money for themselves. And there weren't enough checks, and there weren't enough. So put it down to poor planning, that there's not quite enough materials. But this has been going on for decades now. And what they have is weakened. They can't replace things. Then you have the sanctions. Then you have but there's a lot of stuff that's been going on in secret for a long time. So I'm not saying that Putin isn't going to attack Ukraine. It's what he's doing now. But for what it's worth, I'll put some more cards here. Devil. That would definitely be the invasions where those looking for. It's definitely the invasion and possibly the fear. Hierophant, Queen of Wands, Six of Cups. These are not. This is the Six of Cups. This is Ukrainians going about their lives. Little farmers market. I'm not getting crazy. For what it's worth, no one who does this is 100% accurate, but it's interesting the insights we can get sometimes reading on the collective energy. And I'm just not getting the crazy. I'm just not getting the huge scary. And says they don't maintain their armaments. I think yes. See, I go into these long-winded explanations, and you guys can sum it up in one little sentence, which is awesome. All right. Well, it is 1:34 p.m. here in Chicago. That's going to do it for me for today. But I'm going to carry these questions over to tomorrow. And then I'll have space for some more questions tomorrow as well. I'm here 365 days of the year. Seriously. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for last night, for all of your help, for all of your support of Kirsten. Bless you. Bless you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. All right. So just remember, you're not alone. We are in this together. And there are good days ahead. There are. Even as Pluto goes in Aquarius, there are some amazing days ahead. All right. So take care. All right. And I'll see you right back here tomorrow. Thank you.